Hey guys, Richard at Writing's Room here in my bedroom this time. We got not in front of my Star Wars bookcase, but my own books. Not the non-Star Wars ones. That is, they're at the top from. Well, it's kind of the reversed, but the Zelda ones on the top right. So it should be the Warship down the top left, but you can't really see that. All the way to the bottom, which are basically all the Warhammer books. You sort of see the gold from the Horus Heresy ones at the bottom of this. So yeah, anyway, on to this bit out of time with my date with my reviews. The next one I've got after this will be back in August, but yeah, got to have a bit more time, so on to it we go. So yeah, this is a book I think in 2023 I was reading and just didn't finish it, got bored halfway through and just, well, not even that, and just gave up. Thought I'd give it another go, bought it again, probably the same person I bought from eBay, so it's very, very nice condition. Stuck with the Legends logo, but that's just how it is for new copies of books, that's just what's going to happen. Sadly, none of the other Rogue Squadron books from the first 4 from the same seller or even anyone on eBay brand new exist. Just those Central Legends, and I really don't like those covers. They're way too minimalist, whereas the action on there, same as that one. That's what the Rogue Squadron covers were like. Yeah, I find the Wraith Squadron ones new easily, which I've got, but not Rogue, which is really annoying. In fact, the first one's my favourite Star Wars book covers of all time. So that sucks. But yeah, anyway, on to this. So, again, spoilers for this part of the EU and afterwards. So, Starfighters of Adumar, written by Aaron Alston. Now I know he did the Wraith Squadron, while Michael Stackpole did the Rogue Squadron. So this, though, is more of a Rogue Squadron book, but I guess maybe Michael didn't have the time, whereas Aaron did. And I liked it. You know, Aaron's got really good for comedy, even when he's writing the books in the worst Star Wars era, like Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi. He's still doing an amazing job, you know, with what he gets. And no complaints here. This book, yeah, we also really appreciate it. I don't know why I didn't last time, but absolutely loved it this time round. Maybe I was getting burned out on them. Maybe because I knew it didn't matter how this ended, since the Empire lose anyway. You know, every book I've read is a prequel to something, and it hasn't mattered. But I don't know. 2 years ago, I just weren't getting into it. But tried it again this time and bought it alongside Mercy Kill, which is not here, and I'll explain why shortly after. And yeah, it just really clicked. Absolutely loved it. Never liked the beginning when they basically forced Wedge and Quizux to break up, because having not read this at the time, but New Jedi Order, I know that Wedge gets together with Miri. I think that's how her name is pronounced. Something that Michael Stackpole was teasing, and it felt like this was the book where he basically says, "Okay, Aaron, break them up. Wedge must get together with Miri by the end." I was like, "Oh God, I knew that was coming." And I don't mind it so much. You know, it helps that I've seen more of their relationship in the Fate of the Jedi books, which when I read this, I hadn't done. Only really up to Endor and Legacy of the Force. But yeah, you see them together there, and they're a good couple, and yeah, they get together later, and reasons for break up genuine. You know, Wedge and Qui both plan to break up with each other, claiming they didn't see the same sort of future of each other, or like they were happy but not happy enough, etc. You know, being there, it happens. But yeah, they did a good enough job. I knew what the breakup was leading to, but yeah, I didn't like it back in 2 years ago, and I'm more bored of it now because they are a good couple. It's just Qui kind of vanishes after this, bit like the Bothan woman who is with Gavin, I believe, how they broke up and she's never seen again, and it's kind of the same thing here, but who knows if we got more of the EU, because obviously it got shut down, maybe we've seen more, who knows. So yeah, that's like the early part, which is the ending. So the main plot is that 4 selected pilots get to go to planet Adumar, and they will choose whether they want to support the New Republic or the Empire, because this is before the Empire have formally surrendered, and they just love pilots. The people love what pilots can do, and fights to the death, although Wedge and Co aren't told of that. So Wedge gets his best team of 4 together, goes there, and then discovers the Empire there with the exact same thing, and the Empire guy is good. He's compared to, he said he's not as good as Darth Vader, but better than anyone else, and you know, it makes a good match. And of course, all hell breaks loose. You know, rebellion are like rebellion. Wedge and his group are instantly attacked and to like blow their enemies up, and they find out what goes on. You know, they love fights to the death. Think Song of Ice and Fire when Barristan Selmy in book 5 is trying to encourage jousting, all sorts of traditional Westerosi challenges, and the people in Marine don't want them because they just want blood. You know, they want fights to the death, etc. The thing Daenerys struggles with dealing with as well. And it's saying here they just don't seem to, well, they don't seem to be aware of the concept of just shooting paint at each other, just flying awesomely without killing each other is, you know, a good option. They feel like these natives have never had that option, and some seem to enjoy it. So that's kind of like the main plot. Wedge's group need to get the people on their side, and then there's a rogue New Republic agent who's just out for himself, who they have to prove is up to no good. They have to defeat the Empire. They have to fight off lots of people until they eventually win. And yeah, that kind of sums up. It's quite a short book. Was it 297 pages? No, 287. No, that's not the end of the chapter. 291 pages. Yes, quite a short one, but that's good. Books don't need to be super long. Considering this was kind of wrapping up, loose ends, all the X-Wing books. This was the 9th book at the time, the final one for several years. It made sense that it didn't need to be super long or anything. Unlike, say, Invincible, which the Legacy of Force, which was way too short for the story it was trying to wrap up. But yeah, it worked well here. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Might experience the same thing I did, where didn't appeal as much first time, but gave it another try and it's worth it. And yeah, definitely enjoyed it. In fact, well, let's for a reference, let's mention the next one, X-Wing Mercy Kill now. Book's downstairs, not bothering doing a review for it because frankly I didn't like it. A lot of people said they don't like it. My main concern was it's tied to the Legacy of Force and Fate of the Jedi era, the Denningverse. And yeah, that one of the issues I had with the book Millennium Falcon by James Luceno. That's, you can tell a great story about Han and Leia and Alana Solo going through the history of the Falcon, talking to previous owners, etc., all they want, but it's still tied to the hell that the galaxy became because of Jason Solo's actions primarily. And I always felt that Millennium Falcon was really well written. I loved the history lesson of Han going back to every previous owner. Even if Han letting the ship get stolen at one point was pretty dumb, since it's like Han's true love, after all. But yeah, if it wasn't tied to the Denningverse, they call it, it'd been a great book because all the parts about the Falcon's history, the bonding, brilliant, but they, of course, have to keep mentioning what's gone on. But say, after New Jedi Order, Han, Leia, Jason and Jaina would have been a great story, or even before New Jedi Order, and then you can have Anakin there as well. But because of its placement, it just suffers. And I've expected the same thing of Mercy Kill, and yeah, it did. But other than that, it was just not a particularly great story. It's great seeing some characters back. Piggy, who now goes by the name Vought. Flashback showing that Runt being killed, so that was a huge shock. Seeing other characters like Face are still around. And yeah, I like the Red Squadron books. I didn't consider them essential reading up to the New Jedi Order when I was reading those in 2021, but I read them after in 23 or 22. And yeah, Red Squadron books are good. Not as good as Rogue Squadron. Like Aaron is still a sweet author. He's one of the funniest Star Wars writers we've got. Like from his writing style, I don't know what he's like in person, but I imagine if he's a good comedy writer, he's got good at comedy himself. So yeah, skip Mercy Kill and the Mercy Kill of the entire EU. People would say, oh no, it's not. Crucible was the ending, but from everything I've heard of that book, I've got no desire to read it. So yeah, I was really hoping I'd like Mercy Kill. Even treat it as like the finale after New Jedi Order. Although it said I've not read the 2 books involving what's his name? The one from Cross Currents and Riptide, Jaden Core, one from the Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast games. So I'll give them a go at some point. But yeah, going by timeline wise, it went Apocalypse, X-Wing Mercy Kill, and then Crucible. So yeah, I really got no interest in Crucible. The things I've heard about it, I know it's not a good reason to never read something because I may experience it differently to others, but damage was done from the whole Denningverse setting. The EU ended with New Jedi Order. Yes, I read Legacy comics. I'll do a feature on those some other time. But yeah, that's it. So overall, really good story. Still great. One of Alan Alston's final books. Sadly, he died in 2014, which they do mention in the back. I hope obviously you'll never find this in the shops, which sucks because I imagine secondhand purchases, money's, even if it's a new book, it doesn't go to any of the original writers, publishers, etc. if it's bought through a place like eBay. So yeah, assuming he's not getting money, but family don't get royalties for these sales but then you can't find Star Wars books in shops. And whose fault is that? It's Disney for basically ruining Star Wars. That said, I was in Wolverton. I was in Waterstones earlier, the one I live in Milton Keynes, England, and a ton of Star Wars books. They're all the Essential Legends ones, but 10 of them. You had the Heirs of the Empire trilogy, you had the Darth Bane trilogy. You had one-off books like Scoundrels, that's actually one of my future reads. Dark Lord, I've seen Kenobi in there before. Dawn of the Jedi, so it goes back to the very beginning. Another book I didn't finish. So yeah, it's not completely hopeless for Star Wars. And yeah, the Essential Legends, no question, they're getting books out again. But speaking of which, this should presumably be the next one. Well, the ones we're missing are Izard's Revenge, X-Wing 5. No, that comes after the Wraith book, so X-Wing 8, this one X-Wing 9, and finally Mercy Kill, but I don't think we'll get Mercy Kill because they haven't even touched the Hand of Horn duo yet. So they're not even at the end of the war with the New Republic v the Empire. So I don't know, we'll get that. But hopefully 8 and 9, especially this one, like we've got Jedi in Essential Legends. I've got that downstairs. It's such a better, like one of the only books where I believe the cover's better than the original on the Essential Legends print. So yeah, that's around the. In fact, that's the previous one right before this, I believe. Let's have a quick look at that. So I'm not going to go through the whole list just at this point. So this comes, yeah, Jedi Academy trilogy. Some reason hasn't, which is insane. That trilogy needs the Essential Legends treatment, because what's more essential than Luke building his Jedi Academy with his first students? Jedi has also been done, which is basically the half of that story, telling half, of course, half of the book with Cohen Hornin. We're using a fake name. So yeah, we've got that one. No, that's actually a nice recent one. Jedi. Right, well, this comes next, so oh no, we don't. We get the Callister trilogy, but it's right after. I assume they're not going to give us the Crystal Star in Essential Legends, but yeah, hopefully this won't be long off, because yeah, there's still tons out there, but this badly needs it. The X-Wing book's one of the first EL range, so this is a nice adventure next. But yeah, that is it. So hope you enjoyed the review. A bit later than usual. Hope you enjoyed my new moustache. I had a massively unshaven beard for like 3 weeks end of October, and I thought, yeah, I want to grow my moustache again, because I actually had it this style 2016 and 17. And then it got close to November. I was like, Movember? Why not? So I did it then, basically Friday night before of the 31st. Great way to my Halloween, shaving like all around it, which is fun. Just got to avoid the temptation to pick at it. But yeah, that is it then. So I hope you enjoyed this long video. I rambled on for ages about all sorts of stuff. So X-Wing, 9, and even a bit of Mercy Kill. So again, Mercy Kill by Owen Alston. That's effectively his final book. So if you want to give it a go, sure, go for it. But if you're not a fan of what we call the Denningverse, I can't see you liking that. And overall, the book's just not as good. Yeah, it's not bad seeing the future, story, but I was just skimming through it. I just did not enjoy it at all. But yeah, it's still worth a go. If finish off. If you read the other 9, go for it. But if not, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and my next review is coming up. Till next time.